start here in the room with Miles, and then we'll come over to Zoom. Please raise your hands if you have questions.
Chicago brought a lot of pressure to the ball early last game. How can you match that intensity or even exploit it when they're bringing those traps on the perimeter?
Well, we worked on it today in practice, and we already know what Chicago is capable of doing, and we just got to match it tomorrow night. We just got to match it and just be physical the same way they was physical with us, and do what we need to do.
And I'll stay with Tosh. Over these 2 games, the Sky are averaging 55 points in the paint. What adjustments, short of leaving their forwards that can shoot open for jump shots, can you make as a second level defender?
We got corral the paint. We gotta use our length, and everything to make sure they don't get those extra points in the paint like they did the past 2 games, and let them shoot outside shots like Copper, the ones that normally drives and stuff like that. So just play good defense, and just execute on the defensive end when we need to.
And that if you had to highlight an area of focus for this game 3, what's the key to pulling out a win tomorrow night?
I think for us, it's a team defensive game. It's not just about us playing one-on-one with our person. It's like Tash just said, clogging the paint and making sure, okay, yes, you might be on someone who is a very good driver, but you've got everyone else supporting you behind too. So I think that's huge for us. And then offensively, it's going to be moving the ball and playing at this quick pace so that we can exploit the way that they choose to defend us.
Thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
Jackie.
Hey all, thanks for being here. Natasha, for you, when you watched the tape back, what was something that you noticed and that you thought maybe the post player group didn't do, that maybe led Chicago to get whatever they wanted on both ends?
Pressuring the ball, denying the ball, boxing out, the things that we know that we could do better as a post player, well, technically as a team. It's not just only the post player, but everybody. That's one thing that stood out to me watching the film back over. And also everybody just playing good defense, one-on-one defense, and also a team collective of defense too as well.
I appreciate that. Beck, for you, the last time the Liberty hosted a playoff game was in 2017, and it was the Christy Tolliver game, which I'm sure you remember. And so I'm curious if you can take us through what you feel now, being on this team in this moment, going to play in a historic playoff game, the first one in Brooklyn ever, how that feels different from when you were on this team back in Liberty history.
I mean, firstly, as I'm saying, I'm not looking in the past. This is very much now the moment, and we're lucky enough right now to have been able to play this team 3 times in a row. So we know what to expect. We know that it's going to be a very physical game. It's ultimately going to be who wants it more, who's going to play harder. So I think it's all about always playing in the moment and knowing your scout, knowing your role, and then just playing every possession hard.
I appreciate that. And another one for both of you. When this team would be blown out this year, it would usually take a game or 2 for you all to get back into the swing of things and play hard and together. But now you don't have much time to do that in the playoffs. So I'm curious if you can both take me through the type of mental and physical work that you both have to do in order to sort of get back to who you guys were.
I think it just goes back to sense of urgency. Like you said, maybe in past games, maybe it's taken a couple to bounce back. But again, like I said before, we're not going to use the past to write what we're doing with this future thing. So we know that we have to get it done. There's no tomorrow. So we're going to have to leave it all out on the court and just play every possession hard.
Thank you. Natasha, anything to add?
Nope.
Thank you.
Stephen Bondi.
Hey, I guess this is for both of you ladies. When you lose a game like you did the last game by that margin, how do you look at the film? Do you throw that away? I mean, is there a chip on your shoulder knowing the margin of the defeat? I mean, can you kind of take me through the mindset at coming off a loss like that and how you bounce back for a do or die game?
We was pissed off after that game. Also watching film, individually and collectively, we was mad the way we played, and we knew we not that team how we played that day, Saturday. Right now, like, yeah, we have a chip on our shoulder, but like this game tomorrow is a do or die. It's all take all, but at the end of the day, we looking on the things that we can control and not dwell on the game on Saturday, how we lost by, I don't know, but we just focusing on what we could do now and what we could do tomorrow.
So you did look at that film. What did you see?
It wasn't us ultimately. And I think we showed the game prior what we can do, how we can play, how we can execute. So whether you want to focus on that game or the first one, that's your choice. But we know that the team that we can come out to be, that second game is not us, and it's not going to be us. And we're going to make sure that we step up and we play the way we did in that first game. But even from that first game, we can do better. But knowing that we can exploit the way that they hard show, knowing that we can, find their weaknesses by the way that they crowd, so it's just by how we move the ball, how we choose to show up. And I think that's what's going to be most important.
And Candace Parker's 36 years old. She's been doing it for a long time. What do you make of her still being able to do it and her career and, everything she's still bringing to the table?
36 isn't old.
Yeah, I guess. In basketball terms, it's fairly old.
She's obviously one of the best who have done it in this game. And I think it's, she's someone that we have to look at in our scout and be ready for every game, because she's someone who wants to step up in the big moments. So it's making sure that we defend her and, our bigs do a good job in that. And it's also knowing that we've got each other's back. So it's never a one-man job.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff.
Thank you. Tosh, Beck, good afternoon, and welcome back to New York. My first question is for both you. I wanted to ask about what's going to be the key to stopping Kalia Copper, because Coach Brondello has really expressed a desire to keep her away from the rim. So what has she done over these past two games, and what's been and how can you neutralize that?
She's elite at using her athleticism to get into the basket. So I know I've said this a few times. I don't mean to continue it, but it is more than a one-man job. It's us making sure that there's no seams that she can get into and get to the basket. She's got a really quick first step at making sure that we, gap off her and not ultimately foul her in the paint as well. So I think it's just by making sure that that's something that she can't even see any lines to the basket.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And Tosh, my next question is for you. The starting five is energized by a bench that includes the player sitting next to you. And it's not, and as she said several times, it's not just a one-woman game. It's players like Han Shu, it's players like Sammy Wickham, it's Dee Richards, as we saw in game two. It's so many others out there. So what does it mean to have a bench that has your back, that comes in and energizes you and keeps the momentum going, particularly when you have, you've been the recipient of it, particularly the pass of Maureen Johannes?
It feels good, to have our other players coming off the bench with the energy and keeping that energy up for us. Like when the starting five come off the floor, keeping that intensity, keeping everything going the way we started the game and the way they come in and keep it up as well. So it feels really good to have those players doing the same thing that we do as we start the game.
Appreciate that. And final one from me. This one is for both you or whoever's comfortable answering it. This team, as Jackie's mentioned before, is one that has really had a next game up mentality and one that has adopted the mantra of why not us. So after a game like that and going into a do or die, perhaps the biggest game this franchise has had in several years, what's your message to each other and how are you going to reflect on this playoff journey? And what's the biggest lesson you're going to take away?
Just be ready. Be ready for 40 minutes. It's gonna be a fight tomorrow night, and we always got to lock in and stay together.
I think together is the key word for us. We're gonna have to do it together, and it's gonna take all of us in 40 minutes, no matter how many minutes each person plays.
Appreciate your time and insight, both of you. Good luck tomorrow.
Last, we'll go to Brian.
Good afternoon, guys. Natasha, my question for you is, on Saturday, it looked as if the offense was a little bit sped up from Chicago's pressure. How important is it going to be for you guys to run your offense and play with pace while also not feeling hurried by the defense that Chicago's throwing at you guys?
Just stay poised. Stay poised. If they putting pressure up on us, like Coach Sandy always say, rip through. get them off of us and, just play tough the same way that Chicago gonna bring too. Like, we gotta be mentally tough, physically tough for 40 minutes.
Thanks. And my second question for you is, you guys have had some success in guarding Emma Miesemann and helping keep her off the boards. How important is it for you guys as bigs to control the board so you can control that pace and play the game that you want to play tomorrow night?
It's very important, especially like guarding Emma. She's a very mobile forward that stays moving nonstop. So we got to make sure we stay attached to her, and also Parker too as well. And Copper, the people that normally get rebounds, and we got to make sure we put a body on them. Don't even run to the rim. Just box them out, face guard them, and the other guards get the rebound. And we can just take off on offense.
Thank you. And Rebecca, my question is, this is the first Liberty home playoff game since 2017, and you played on the team in 2017. So how exciting is it to see the franchise back in a playoff game in New York? And just how exciting do you think it'll be for the fans tomorrow to see you guys in such an exciting, intense atmosphere?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get out there because we're going to have a great fan base and the support all behind us. I think that brings a huge energy for us as players on the court, and it just makes it exciting as well. It's a game that, they've all got our backs. We're out here trying our best as well. We want to get this win. And I think if we do it all together, that's going to make it pretty special for the franchise and for us.
Fantastic. Thank you guys, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you all for joining us. We'll send a recording shortly. Thank you.